So put your little hand in mine. There ain't no hill or mountain we can't climb. Babe, do 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 do. I've got you, babe, do 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 do. I've got you, babe, do 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 do.
Do it fast.
Okay, campers, rise and shine. Don't forget, it's cold out there today. It's cold out there today. What is my reach? Not hardly. And you know, you can expect hazardous travel today. What was that blizzard thing? That blizzard thing? That blizzard thing. I have the report right here. The National Weather Service is calling for a big blizzard thing. Yes, they are. And you know what makes today especially exciting? Especially cold. Yes, especially cold. Is the question on everybody's lips. Their chapped lips. Will Phil come out and see his shadow? Puxatawny Phil. That's right. Which is Groundhog Day.
Wait. I really regret making such a long intro now.
It's a minute. It's like along with the singing. I was looking at it earlier. Along with the singing and along with that whole spiel that we do every week. It's like almost a minute.
And keeping in mind, it's only a 20-minute show, so we're really kind of skimping on the content.
That we keep running long on every week. So
hi, I'm Bobby. That's Randy.
I'm Randy, and that's Bobby.
It's Wednesday, May 15th, 2019. Trump's still in office.
I want you to realize that if you talk really fast throughout,
we have to say more stuff.
We have to say more stuff.
Well, you might be noticing. Actually, no, you won't notice. One listener.
And also, just to point this out, this is our 23rd episode and 23rd watch of a little movie known as Groundhog Day.
I think it's day. Hold on, let's check. Yeah, day. Sorry.
Yeah. It's not What About Bob. It's not Stripes.
No.
It's not Caddyshack.
Yeah, it's not Caddyshack.
It's Groundhog
It's not Ghostbusters.
No, it's not Ghostbusters
okay.
2.
Oh. It might be Ghostbusters 1. Anyway.
So
I think we were watching Ghostbusters 1. Like, if you do.
Oh my god. I could actually do that because I think I used to do that as a child. I at least watch it once a week.
Yeah.
And then watch the real Ghostbusters. But I digress. So I'll go back to one of our usual...
So today we watched the movie Groundhog Day again.
No, we watched it separate times.
We watched it separately from each other again.
But
Randy was sick or something, so we had to delay.
Yeah, I was losing my voice last week. You'll hear a little bit as I go on. There's a little bit of a gravel.
You wouldn't have wanted to hear that. It was not good.
I can't even describe it, and if I try to do it, my throat will get damaged.
First thing I want to talk about real quick. Do you want to say something before I start?
No, I just want, before you start your spiel of the things you're trying to remember, I want to go with our usual segments to that what kills time. How was your viewing of Groundhog Day this week?
I didn't come here Saturday.
No.
So I watched on Saturday, severely drunk, and that's pretty much it. I took a few notes.
I
didn't leave my house on Saturday, I don't think. I did not exit my yard.
I didn't speak for almost 2 days, but as I watched it on Monday, actually, in the evening after I got home from work, sat down with my supper, and watched it for my 23rd time.
The other thing I want to point out is today we actually were thinking about doing the episode outside instead of in Randy's living room.
Yeah, because we have new mics, but we figured let's run a test today.
No, actually, the other thing is it just got cold. It was warm earlier and then it just got cold.
That too, and hopefully next week I'll have my yard.
It was like nice. It was like nice. No, we're gonna walk on he has like a bike path next to his house. We're gonna like take a romantic stroll
within the wires,
down the path, arm in arm, singing. We're off to see the wizard.
But he's digressing because he doesn't want to hear me say that on my 23rd watch of Groundhog Day, I am a broken shell
Tell them
of
that
the
story.
man that I once
Tell them
was.
that story.
It's a very short story.
Okay.
Time dilated while watching this film. This was the longest film I had ever seen.
Of any film in your life?
Of any watch.
Even more than the Lord of the Rings?
This was longer than watching the entire extended cut of the Lord of the Rings trilogy, plus the unexpected trilogy of The Hobbit combined. That's how long this movie felt. It went on forever.
And on and on.
In fact, I'm probably still watching that movie right now, and this is just all a hallucination because we are nearing the event horizon of that black hole that is the film Groundhog Day.
Oh, I think that was another thing I thought to talk about. Now I forgot what the earlier point I was going to say was. Sorry about that. I'm losing everything now.
I just wanted to say that it's like this movie was this. I for just one day.
Yeah,
I hate this film.
We finally got Randy to stop joyfully liking this movie every single time he watches it.
This was my one watch where I...
Why did you dislike it? What was the... I want to know now. What was the parts you hated?
I don't know. It was just sitting here and going, why is this movie... Why won't this end? Why is this still going?
Because as we know,
this movie's not that slow.
It's only an hour 40.
It's
so it shouldn't be that long.
40. There's not a... No, there's a lot underneath the surface, but there's not a lot to the actual movie going on.
And we know that when you hit the dancing in the snow scene, you're at the halfway point, and it's all downhill.
Yeah, and I got to that point, I'm like, I've been sitting here for the last 6 hours. Why is this movie still going on? Mm-hmm. And then it finished, and I went, fuck this movie. And then I watched the Sunday's episode of Game of Thrones.
Oh, yeah, I thought you didn't catch up on that.
Oh, no, it's like I had to do my homework before
I mean,
work.
are you all caught up on the whole series?
All the way up to it now. Just this Sunday's episode, and I'm done.
I honestly don't really like the last, 2 or 3 seasons. They're not well written.
Well,
but we're not here to talk about that.
No, I'm going to say my one thing on it. That once they went off book, mm-hmm. and this is the description I'm stealing from somebody on the internet, it became a game of Dungeons and Dragons where it's nearing the end of the session for the night. Everybody has to get home because they have to work early the next day, so they're rushing. And they don't care if things don't make sense. Oh, you need to get to that city that's halfway across the continent? Oh, well, you're there.
Teleport.
It's
a fanfic at this point. Let's face it. It's a fanfic.
And it just goes to show that maybe the writers aren't as competent as they want to be.
They were never competent. They were just copying a book.
Yeah, they were adapting a book and even then took out some cool stuff from that book. But we digress for enough.
I'm sorry, we can't talk about anything else but Groundhog Day on this podcast.
We get 5 minutes.
Yeah.
So now you had some points you
wanted
to make.
What was I saying earlier before you...
Okay, the first one you brought to me because you're trying to remember the third one was...
No. I was about to say something else completely, but I completely forgot what it was when
because you kept trying to cut me off, Kanye style.
Because the reason why is because I have a terrible memory, and if I don't have it written down, I will forget it. I had several talking points I wanted to get to today, and there was something I wanted to talk about earlier, but I forgot what it was, so maybe I'll have to wait till another episode.
So let me give you the talking points that you told me.
The first talking point I had was, I remember that, I was wondering, since we know that the bartender is a looper, where does he start his day every day? Does he have a house or apartment?
First things first. Mm-hmm. Does the bartender live in Puxatawny?
He has to. How else could he get to that bar every day?
So, he owns a house. He's renting a house. He's renting an apartment.
Bartender salary?
Who says that he's alone? Who says that he's not? Who says that this isn't his retirement? Let's say, who says that he's not? It's a small town.
He is elderly.
Who's to say that he doesn't own the bar within this small
hotel?
Hotel, yeah, because it's like.
Can you independently own a bar in a hotel?
Yeah, I've seen coffee shops and stuff in hotels that are owned by the hotel.
Oh, I thought they have to pay rent on it.
Yeah, you're paying rent on it, but it's like,
okay.
But you know what I mean? It's like he could have anything. He could be the freaking hotel owner.
Do we know the name of the hotel? She says it at some point.
I believe it's the Pennsylvanian, but I have to go back and check.
It's like, does the bar have a separate name in there? We have to check the background.
No, we never see it. We never see what it is. It's like, I bet you
just the bar of the Pennsylvanian.
Yeah, it's like, I think the hotel is called the Pennsylvanian.
Because if it had a separate name, then you could say it was independently owned.
But it's like I said, it's like he is a resident of Puxatawny, we assume.
And we don't know we still don't know what his goal is to get out.
Maybe he's just enjoying himself. Maybe he's just...
I know, we said he was extending his elderly years because he's going to die.
Yeah, he's an elderly gentleman.
He's at least late 60s, early 70s.
Yeah, at least going by the color of his hair, it's whiter than mine. Mm-hmm.
And getting onto that point, I wanted to talk about... I was thinking about where he starts his day. And then I was thinking about, well, where does Nancy start her day? I'm like, well, we know she starts her day. She starts her day in her house because we see her house when she goes on the date with Phil and they make out and presumably have sex afterwards when he proposes to her. Now, what I was thinking, then that got me suddenly thinking, well, wait a second. We see Nancy's house. She's got a fireplace. It looks like a fairly nice place.
That house, that fireplace, that's Phil's bed and breakfast room.
It is?
Yeah.
How do we know that?
He mentioned something to Rita about turning the fireplace on. We can stay in, turn on the fireplace. I'm pretty positive, that he mentions to Rita that we can stay in, we can turn the fireplace on, it's like all that. I'm pretty positive he mentions that, unless some Mandela.
And now I felt like I made a pointless point then because.
Okay, I'm gonna pause the movie then, and I'm gonna go check out the.
Because I said,
go to the
if that was her house, it looks too nice. Because as we know, the only thing we know about her when Phil briefly mentions it to Rita in the one of the ending scene, the second good date. The first actually good date, is that this is Nancy and she works at the dress shop. Now, if she works at the dress shop, how is she affording a full house?
Okay, so what we're gonna
unless she inherited it from her parents, but she's not that old. She's like 30-something.
Like I said, and once again, she doesn't have to own it, but she can earn enough to pay rent. Like I don't understand. I don't know how.
Well, is her parents already dead?
I don't know. She's in her third. She's supposed to be in her 30s.
They died in a car accident early?
They're probably still alive, but it's like...
Maybe she got in an accident, they died, and she got brain damage.
No. Maybe they're taking care of her, and it's like...
shit.
Yeah, because it's like... If she's in her 30s, her parents can be like in their 50s or 60s.
She's a very capable adult. She can hold a job. It's just that she needs a little help with paying bills and stuff like that.
Remember what day of the week it is. Yeah.
She doesn't know some of these things. She's happy, That's nice. It's nice that she's happy, but...
The next episode, we watch 50 First Dates, and we discuss
She just needs a little adult assistance sometimes. That's all. Nancy's a nice person.
But you know what? We all need a little adult assistance every once in a while.
Mm-hmm. Doesn't everybody? Sometimes an adult diaper, something like that.
Sometimes somebody to just cut your hair that I really need badly right now.
Hey, he still didn't get a haircut.
Well, it's bad. It's hard when my usual barber kind of passed away.
Just use the other guy.
They're not open yet. They're still not open.
Oh, they closed down for that? To mourn him?
To mourn him, and also he was the owner.
Probably to transfer the contract.
Yeah, he's the owner, so it's like, yeah.
It's a good thing I got my haircut before he died.
Yeah. I'll have to go do it tomorrow.
Mm-hmm. So, say something about the movie so that I can think of what else I was missing.
But yeah, this week, you didn't notice nothing really popped out at me. But the line I kept fixating on as I felt time slipping away from me was, we've talked about this line before. Yeah. Ned coming up to him and giving his whole spiel about insurance, and then he starts going on about a premium life.
Mm-hmm. Oh, we talked about the insurance structure last week a bit.
Yeah, but what I'm getting into now is that, what with all this talk this week, I'm digressing only for 30 seconds, people.
Okay.
With Game of Thrones and people saying, no, it came out unexpected when things were foreshadowed, I started asking myself, what is foreshadowed in Groundhog Day? Mm-hmm. So Ned tells him right off the bat, do you want to live that premium life? Mm-hmm. Watch out for that first step. It's a doozy.
Yep.
So in order for him to get out of the loop, he has to live his premium life, which if you would agree, do you agree with me, that by the end of the film, he's living a quote-unquote premium life. As much as he could in a small town of Puxatawny, where he doesn't have a lot of options to himself available to him.
I guess we didn't look into the definition of the word premium. Because if you're talking about premium as in like a rich life, he's not a rich man. But if we're talking about premium as in...
He pays a piano teacher every day $1,000.
But he gets that money back every day too.
Yes, but he's walking around with $1,000 in his pocket.
Plus the cost of the jack and stuff like that.
Yeah, plus all the cost of all the things.
Oh, that's what I'm talking about, the doctor. I got it.
Okay, go ahead.
When we see Harold Ramis in his director's cameo treating Phil early on in the movie and giving him like a x-ray and stuff like that, my question was, does he work in the same hospital that we later see the homeless guy die in? Or is he running a little private practice? Because it looks like a small office, but you can't really tell.
I'm going to go with probably the same hospital. It is a small town.
It is a small town. They wouldn't have like a doctor, like a big hospital, then a private practice.
We already know that he can't go out to a closer town because there aren't really any closer towns. You look at the map, there aren't really any closer maps.
Hold on a second, Randy. Break that map out again so we can talk about it.
I refuse to do
so we can talk about it on this audio medium that no one can see.
I refuse to do the visual thing in the audio because I re-listened to that podcast and went, I'm so sorry.
This is garbage.
I'm sorry. I'm going to have to put together an audio-visual component to this now, and I don't want to.
Yeah. Oh, that's what I wanted to talk about.
But just before...
No, real quickly, we were unsearchable on YouTube.
Yeah, I was going to
Okay.
come back to that. I was waiting
Okay.
at the end to start talking about
Okay.
SEO. But yeah, they have to. He has to be in the same hospital. It's like I could see a private practice, but what's the point? Because he has all his own equipment.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, you said the office. What, the office looks a little homey? No, it's the same as the other
I
hospitals.
think
It's a
at one
private
point in time we
hospital.
talked about the population, and you'd have to imagine there wouldn't be a big enough
Oh,
population to
I-
support that much, right?
I'm gonna write it down because
57,000 or something like that?
no, but I'm gonna write it down next time because we see the.
We want all the stats of Punxsutawney. I want the size of this place in square miles. I want the population. I want the average GDP
I'm,
income level.
I'm trying to okay, if one of us is doing the RPG, how many characters do we have to have after this is done to do a tabletop RPG? Okay, I need at least 6,000 people, so I need to have 6,000 character names.
Get a random name generator.
I'm just gonna take every single person that worked on this film, put their
Oh,
names
yeah, there
into
you go. That's a good way of
into
doing it.
a
Yeah.
Word document and just go randomize.
How long are we at?
We're at about 15 minutes.
Okay, we can start talking about this right now.
Yeah, go ahead.
I want to talk about this. So listen, our only listener. The reason why you're the only listener is because I realized very recently that I'd made a horrible mistake when I made this podcast, and I called it Groundcast Day. And all I did was I put it up and I hashtagged it on YouTube because you can put in little the search terms. I put in Groundhog Day and podcast. And that was it.
And I think you tagged us as comedy or something like that. Or
No, that was it. And then last week, after we finished watching Mac and Me, we tried to search for our own podcast on YouTube, and we realized that when you type in Groundhog Day Podcast, it doesn't even come up. And we were wondering why we had no listeners. So now what I realized is I have to rename this podcast Groundcast Day, a Groundhog Day Podcast. And then I hashtagged it Groundhog Day, and podcast, all in one.
And my favorite part is, I kid you not, that even when we searched for the words Groundcast Day, we weren't even the first result. It was all Groundhog Day related stuff. And then on page 2, Groundcast Day, episode 1.
But now I think I fixed it because when I typed in Groundhog Day Podcast, it did come up.
So we still have to get specific.
But we still don't come up when you search Groundhog Day, at least on the first 3 or 4 pages.
Yeah, we're very far. And once we get more views, if we ever get more views, it'll be there. But at least we're searchable now.
At least
unlike our other podcasts.
Like, what was it? Dungeons and Back Again.
Dungeons and Back Gone. Sorry, Back Again.
Temporary Insanity.
Yeah, call it the Thulu podcast.
Weaver Dice, I guess River City. We didn't really have a title for that one.
Yeah, that one's just Weaver Dice.
And then Tales from, what the hell is the other one called?
Tales from the Foam Lord. Yeah, it's like
Tales from the Grave.
Tales from the Crypt type of thing. It's like
no, it was, but we had a name for it.
I think we were called like Tales from the Creep Side.
Yeah, Tales from the Creep Side. Yeah, those ones.
And it was, I don't even remember what the thing was.
Those are some fine podcasts that have names, but the problem is, this one, which we're actually investing more time into, had a name, but nobody knew about it.
Well, you have to go and you have to promote. I've constantly told you
I was thinking about
you're the Reddit man. You have to be there every time somebody says Groundhog Day. You have to pop in there and you have to be like,
hey,
I can tell you a fact about the movie. If you want to hear some more weirdness, it's
Listen
like
to my podcast.
Listen to my podcast.
Groundcast Day. I'll just be a shameless shill, yeah. And then we have to go on other podcasts and try to cross promote with them.
I'll never go on another podcast again.
Oh, okay. Well, not go on, but I was just talking about cross promoting with other podcasts. Like, hey, you mention us and we'll mention you. Even though I have 1 listener and you have 30,000. How about that? How's that a deal for you?
And I think the 1 listester might be you, just every time you say, did this work? Yep. It's I have 1 view.
Are you
already?
saying that this is the Jacob's Ladder ending and it's all in my head?
You've been the one making the 1 view, because I never click on it when you send it to me in Discord. I go, yep, it's there.
It exists.
And I'm like, it exists.
There's a record that it exists.
And nobody's reading the great flavor text
Record
that you
of
have.
Record of Groundhog War.
Oh God, is that the RPG?
Mm-hmm.
Record of Groundhog War.
Mm-hmm. All gotta be
Oh,
recorded. Say something else about. Wait, what?
I have to find that article again. They were talking about Groundhog Day, and they were talking about it from the various viewpoints from different religions. There's one where Punxsutawney Phil is meant to be a stand-in for Jesus Christ and his resurrection.
Well, we talked about that already. Remember?
No, we talked about how Phil has to become
He has
Puxatawny
the mantle
Phil.
of the
Yeah,
groundhog.
to take the mantle. But no, this is literally one where it's like, in a Christian reading, Puxatawny Phil is a stand-in for Jesus Christ.
Randy, we got to get some of those bullshit essays and just like review them on this podcast.
It was like a Mental Floss or a BuzzFeed article. I gotta find those.
You got to start like
They're
bringing
great.
together all Groundhog Day medium and like reviewing it as part of this podcast to create one nexus.
And with that, I think
Interaction.
we'll tap out like a couple of seconds early.
No. We got to talk. Say one more point for one more minute.
One more point for one more minute.
Yeah.
And with that, I'm Randy.
Ding 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 ding.
He really wants to
Rolling
see
around at
that.
the speed of sound.
So Bobby, do we need to go see that Sonic movie and then immediately record?
Oh, wait, do we have to go see Detective Pikachu?
I still want to see Detective Pikachu, but
We
I
haven't
don't
seen
know.
Detective Pikachu yet.
I was actually considering just going to see it tomorrow
Detective
alone.
Groundhog. I would go see it, but I'm broke. I literally have $0 in my pocket.
I'm just keeping the recording. It's like the episode's over, but it's
Hold on a second. The episode. Let's just talk about other stuff. Hey guys, what's going on? No.
Hey, how's it going? Now I'm on vacation next couple of days, so I'm like I have some.
I'm off Monday. Well, by the way, next episode will probably be recorded Monday.
Yep. Okay.
Bye.
Goodbye. Let's end this. Goodbye. And not done yet. So people, this is the other recording.
Oh shit! We haven't stopped. Stop
This
the
never
recording.
ends. Oh no. So yeah, people.
I was already taking off my pants. Would you just turn that damn thing off?
No. Okay. So everybody, this is a different recording. I was recording twice to be safe.
Person.
So once again, goodbye. You'll hear from us next week for a 24th
And
viewing
good luck.
of Groundhog Day, and Trump will remain in office for some reason for the rest of my life. Goodbye.